Good morning, and thank you for joining us for footage of Hurricane Dorian from the International Space Station. This is a live view from the International Space Station Flight Control Room in Houston, Texas at NASA's Johnson Space Center, and the space station is currently flying about 260 statute miles over British Columbia in an orbital nighttime. Though the station is over British Columbia right now, it travels at about 17,500 miles an hour, and so in the next few minutes you'll start to see Hurricane Dorian come into view once we get views from our external cameras aboard the International Space Station. We've been providing coverage of Dorian as it grew to a Category 5 hurricane and all the way back down to a Category 1, which is where we will find it this morning. In a 7 a.m. Eastern Time update from the National Hurricane Center, Dorian is now a Category 1 hurricane, falling from that Category 3 status we saw this time yesterday morning, and it's traveling toward the northeast near 14 miles per hour. This same general motion, along with an increase in wind speed, is expected through Saturday. This is a view showing the location of the International Space Station currently flying over British Columbia, as we mentioned. The space station orbits the Earth about every 45 minutes, so the astronauts on board see 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. At 7 a.m. Eastern, the National Hurricane Center reported Dorian was about 30 miles west-southwest of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, or about 40 miles northeast of Cape Lookout, North Carolina. It's continuing to move across the outer banks of the state. On the current forecast track, Dorian's center will move over the coast of North Carolina during the next several hours, and the center should move to the southeast of New England tonight and tomorrow morning, then across Nova Scotia late Saturday or Saturday night. At that time, the National Hurricane Center expects Dorian to become a post-tropical cyclone with hurricane-force winds by Saturday night as it approaches Nova Scotia. As you can see, the space station is approaching the red line on your screen, the difference between nighttime and day, which is called the Terminator line. It will cross that over Manitoba, Canada. And this is the view from the outside of the International Space Station. Coming up on that Terminator line, the space station currently 261 statute miles over Saskatchewan. Dorian will be coming into view shortly, and the National Hurricane Center predicts an additional 3 to 8 inches of rain may be in store for northeastern North Carolina, with isolated storm totals reaching a potential 15 inches. This is a view of one of the external high-definition cameras aboard the space station, looking down toward the Earth space station now having crossed that terminator line over Manitoba. And as we mentioned, this is a similar view that the astronauts have on the space station, our orbiting laboratory. There are currently 6 crew members on board who can see the hurricane from what is like the bay window of the space station called the cupola. And you can see Dorian below the space station, the Category 1 hurricane. Swells from Dorian are expected to affect much of the southeastern U.S. coast for the next couple of days, from northern Florida through North Carolina. This creates dangerous surf and rip current conditions. These views of the external cameras aboard the space station are controlled by flight controllers here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, in the International Space Station's flight control room. In this view, you can also see one of the solar panels that power the space station as it is flying 261 statute miles just over the tip of northern Michigan. Hurricane Dorian coming into view clearly from this external high-definition camera. At 7 a.m. Eastern Time, it was reported to be about 30 miles west-southwest of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, 40 miles northeast of Cape Lookout, North Carolina. Maximum sustained wind speeds for Dorian are reported at 90 miles per hour currently, with higher gusts, and hurricane conditions are spreading north along the portions of coastal North Carolina, while tropical storm conditions are still affecting the northern portion of South Carolina's coast. Dorian still very clearly defined. However, the National Hurricane Center does expect the hurricane to become a post-tropical cyclone by tomorrow night, Saturday. An amazing view as we look down into the eye of Hurricane Dorian, the International Space Station flying 261 statute miles just off the coast of New Jersey. The storm is traveling toward the northeast about 14 miles per hour, and this is the same general motion expected through Saturday, along with an increase in the wind speed. The forecast for the rest of the day for Dorian calls for the center to move over the coast of North Carolina during the next several hours. It should then move to the southeast of New England tonight and tomorrow morning, then across Nova Scotia late Saturday and Saturday night. Dorian still in view as the International Space Station is flying 261 statute miles north of Bermuda. As we previously mentioned, this is an astronaut's eye view, and some of the astronauts have also been taking photos of Dorian as it waxed and waned in strength over the last week. You can see those photos on their social media pages. That's NASA's Christina Cook, Nick Hague, and Andrew Morgan, who are all on Twitter. Hurricane Dorian beginning to fade out of view as the space station is 261 statute miles over the Sargasso Sea. Still a dangerous storm with wind speeds up to 90 miles per hour with higher gusts at the time. Hurricane Dorian now fading out of view, 261 statute miles, the International Space Station flying over the Sargasso Sea. As we mentioned, Dorian's center should move to the southeast of New England tonight and tomorrow morning, then across Nova Scotia late Saturday or Saturday night, at which point it is expected to become a post-tropical cyclone with hurricane force winds. This is our final day of coverage of Hurricane Dorian views from the International Space Station, but we have been covering it for a week now, and we've seen it grow up to a Category 5 storm and back down to a Category 1 where we find it today. And if you would like to revisit any of the previous coverage, you can do so by visiting images.nasa.gov and searching for Hurricane Dorian, or by following us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and searching for the International Space Station. Those videos and more information about what's going on aboard the space station are available on those social media sites. Stay safe to all who may be in the path of Dorian as it continues along the East Coast, and look to local officials for instruction. We're signing off for this morning's Hurricane Dorian coverage. This is Mission Control Houston.